Welcome to Azure Application Developer series of videos. I am Krishna, author, trainer on Azure. Me and my partner, Mrs. Bharti, have created this Application Developer series videos for you. These videos focus on Azure basics for students of Azure looking for career and business opportunities in Azure. These videos are meant for application developers who wish to develop applications and work in the Azure domain. In this video, you will learn what is cloud computing, why is cloud computing for a developer, developing cloud applications, challenges answered by cloud computing. Let us begin with traditional computing. In traditional computing, we use the computing power of our desktop computers to run applications. We are quite used to this. We store data in the hard disks of our desktop computers. When we create a file, a Word file or an Excel file or a picture, we store it on the hard disks of our computers. We buy and install software on our servers and use the applications from different client computers. When I say this refers to a network scenario where there are servers and there are client computers. Sorry. And for traditional computing, we don't need an internet to use software applications. So without an internet connection, you can do your work on a desktop computer in traditional computing. So this is the traditional computing scenario. Let us now see how cloud computing scenario unfolds. In cloud computing, we use the computing power of computers residing in distant data centers. This is a data center, and such data centers are located all over the world. We store data in computers residing in distant data centers. In the desktop computing, that is traditional computing, we created files and stored them in the desktop computers locally, whereas when you come to cloud computing, we can store that data, images, Word files, Excel files, all of them on the distant data centers. We host and deliver web applications to a worldwide audience from such data centers. So what do? We develop applications and called web applications, and we serve them to a worldwide audience by loading them onto the, hosting them on the distant data centers. So one of the common phrase we have used in this slide is a distant data centers. So you will see that the Azure or any other cloud computing platform is installed and is running in these distant data centers, and that is where you connect and work. We absolutely need an internet connection to use cloud computing. That is the basic and the most important one for anyone to use cloud computing. Now we no longer buy software, we just use them as a service. This is another important feature of cloud computing. We no longer buy software. There are no software available to purchase when you use cloud computing. Either you get them free or you have to use them as a service. So what is a service? You use it for 10 minutes, you pay for it. You use it for 1 year, you pay for it. So that is the essence of cloud computing. You have a distant data center. We store data in computers residing in such data centers. We host applications on such distant data centers and deliver it to a worldwide audience. We absolutely need an internet connection, and we no longer buy software. We use them as a service. So continuing, to give you an illustration of this, you have such distant data centers, and there is a person using a desktop computer. He has an internet connection, to the distant data center. He accesses Hotmail or Facebook over the internet. These softwares are usually hosted on such distant data centers. Software such as Hotmail use the computing power of distant data centers. Hotmail stores email data in data centers. Hotmail is delivered worldwide audience from these data centers. We need internet to access Hotmail, and we use Hotmail as a service. In this case, Hotmail is free. So this sums up what is the basics of cloud computing. Now let us see, why is cloud computing attractive? Why is it gaining ground? Cloud computing is estimated to cost less both in the long run and the short run. For example, if you have a network of computers at office, you don't buy hardware such as servers and connectors to connect the computers. You also don't need to buy special software to connect your computers. So it is in the investment perspective, or at the investment stage, or in the running stage, cloud computing is expected to cost less. Resources such as computing power, storage, software, development tools and databases offered by cloud computing are available on demand whenever we ask. This is another big advantage of cloud computing. Suppose you are working on a software, you are building a software, or you need to do some work, you need a software tool to do your work, and you just go access the portals, cloud computing portals, and you download or use the software as it is. So it is available on demand. Whereas compare this with the traditional computing, you need to buy a software, you need to order it, you need to download it, you need to verify it, and then start using it. Another big advantage of cloud computing, why it is getting so attractive, is resources such as computing power, storage, VM instances are scalable on demand. All these resources are scalable on demand. So what does it mean when we say scalable? It simply means that you can increase the computing power of your VMs, you can increase the storage capacity of your requirement, and the number of computers itself, that is the VM instances which you are running your applications, can be scaled. That is, they can be increased. Some of the resources can also be decreased. We'll come to that later. Cloud computing is very secure, is highly secure. So this makes it a complete package for anyone to use cloud computing. How is it made highly secure? One of the ways to make it highly secure is the distant data centers we referred to in the earlier slides are located in multiple centers, and your applications are hosted on all these centers. So if even when one center fails, you have the application available immediately from the other data center. Now the whole application developer series of videos are targeted for a developer. So let us bring in what does it mean for the developer. For a developer, you develop applications on your desktop computer and move them to the cloud and test them. Earlier you used to develop your applications on the desktop computer and install it on a desktop computer and test them. Now you move to the cloud and test them. For development, you don't need anything except a desktop computer. You don't need an internet and an Azure connection to develop the application as it is. Once you develop the application and run it on an emulator, you can then deploy it to the cloud and then test it and use it. For a developer, he will need multiple software tools to develop an application. So all these software tools are available on requirement in the cloud. And note that some of them can be free and some have to be paid for. So as a project is commenced, huge investments go into these projects. developers can, without wasting time, can go to the cloud portals and download or start using software tools for their project. Now, as applications are developed by a team or by individuals, it is important that these are backed up and stored. You can do that on the cloud, and the data you create while running applications are backed up and stored automatically in the cloud. Now let us compare developing desktop applications and cloud applications. That is traditional computing and cloud computing. In traditional computing, you have a computer with Windows OS installed, you have Visual Studio installed on it, you have a database, and you develop applications using all this software. Now, when you come to cloud computing, you have a desktop computer on which Windows OS is installed, you have Visual Studio. Now there are another thing which comes in, that is an Azure SDK, which you download from the cloud, the Azure portal, and it comes with an emulator, and you use all these to develop cloud applications. Now once you develop the cloud application, you move it to the cloud environment. So you develop your applications and host these applications on the Azure cloud environment. As the application runs, you store data in the Azure cloud environment, and you deliver these applications to a worldwide audience. Now, what are the benefits of cloud computing? From a developer point of view, that is, cost savings occur, sophisticated software tools availability, shorter schedules for development, applications are instantly scalable. So when a developer develops an application and installs it on the cloud, he can scale the application as need arises. From a company perspective too, cloud computing is very attractive. So what are the challenges of a company which a cloud computing solution offers? There are three main challenges for a company which are unique to a company, that is, handling of high traffic times, deploy newly developed applications on new infrastructure. Company website or application should have high availability. These are the three important challenges a company requires or faces when deploying applications to its audience. Cloud computing enables dynamic scaling of resources such as compute power and application instances to handle high traffic. So this is the handling of high traffic challenge is met by cloud computing by enabling dynamic scaling of resources such as compute power and application instances themselves to handle high traffic. Now, companies need to keep developing new applications. This is because a company, a growing company or a company always has new requirements, and things keep changing, and they develop new software. So for this new software, additional hardware, additional resources need not be invested in. Companies can simply start using the IT infrastructure available in the cloud and start developing applications, which is a minuscule cost of the investments they would need to make. The third biggest challenge is, once an application is deployed, this application should be available all over the world or to an audience all over the world and 24 hours a day. Cloud computing offers sophisticated disaster recovery infrastructure, that is, as the application is running, if it fails for some reason, whether it's a hardware failure or it's a software bug, it will immediately move it to the another instance where it is running and ensure that it is available to the audience. So this is how cloud computing satisfies a company. Now for an end user, for a simple user, let us look at how cloud computing benefits. For an end user, all software are available on the cloud. He can use the software on pay as you go basis. That is, you pay as you go. That is, you use it and you pay for it. You can store all your documents, important documents, data, pictures, everything on a cloud and access it from any device. Whether you are in the train or a bus or working in an office or at home, you can access the documents using any device. That is a mobile or a laptop or a pad. You can use any software on the go. That is, you can work anywhere. You are going in a train, traveling, you want to do some work, you can do it using cloud computing. And for an end user too, cloud computing eliminates the need for sophisticated infrastructure for accessing and using high-end software. High-end softwares are usually very expensive and end users find it very beneficial to use them on the cloud as it will be inexpensive to use them. To summarize, cloud computing is a new computing paradigm growing rapidly world over, and vendors such as Microsoft, Google and Amazon are offering their own versions of cloud computing delivery models. For businesses, creating and deploying applications is now simpler. Cloud computing brings multiple benefits to all segments of users, companies, developers and end users, which we have seen in this video. Before I close, I would like to remind you that you can call us to clarify your doubts on this number and talk to our Azure author and trainer. We always strive to make you a confident Azure developer. We would like to also inform you that videos from us, that is bginfotech.com, are used by .NET and Azure developers world over. We also offer professional online training. If you are serious about learning Azure, then see our other videos covering Azure in more detail. For free update on Azure job scenario, email us at connectco.info@gmail.com.